Hello, fourth graders. This is Mr. A, and we are reviewing adding fractions on number lines. I want you guys to be so fluent with fractions and understand them very well. So I'm going to try my best in this video to explain the concept. Okay? So remember, when we're talking about fractions, we're talking about a whole that was broken into pieces. Okay, so if we're talking about number line, we're talking about a whole line, so that starts from 0 to 1, and that number or that whole line was first partitioned into thirds. Okay, so it was one piece in the beginning, then it was partitioned into three pieces. So here's one, here is two. Okay, so I'm gonna make these a little bit longer. So we have now one piece of three, two pieces of three, three pieces of three. 3/3 make a whole. Okay, so that's what fractions are about. Now, the number that tells us how many thirds or how many pieces are there, or how many are available, is the numerator. Okay, so the numerator tells us how many uh, partitions or how many uh, are still available after the whole was partitioned. Okay, so we have 4/3. So that means we have more than a whole because this is 3/3. So we need to draw another whole. So here's my 0 and here is my 1. And it's very important that you keep the same width because we're talking about the same whole. Okay, so here is our second whole. We have to partition it into thirds because we have 4 pieces of thirds. So I'm going to partition the second line into thirds. So here's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay, now 4/3, that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of thirds. Okay, so we want to add 2 more pieces of thirds. So that's going to be 1, 2. So if we're adding them, we're adding the 4 that we originally had. Okay, we're adding the original 4 and 2 more. This is going to give us how many? 6. It's going to give us 6 pieces of thirds. Interesting thing is I needed to draw 2 whole lines to make 6/3. I took one and I broke it into thirds, and I draw another one and I broke it into thirds, and that gave me 6 pieces of thirds, which is the same as 2 wholes, right? So if you take 6 pieces and you divide them by 3, or 6 pieces of thirds, that's going to give you 2 whole. Those are equivalent, okay? 2 whole. All right, so let's see the next one. The next one we have 3 and 1/7 plus 1/7. So we're going to draw the same whole. So here is 0, here's 1, here's 2, here is 3, and here is 4. The reason why I drew 4 lines is even your whole number, it was made of a fraction, okay? So the 3 here, if we're using 7, that means we would break our whole into 7. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did a poor job here because my partitions have to be equal sign. Okay, so I'm gonna try another one. In my second one, let me make them bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here I did a better job. So I'm gonna do the same thing for my holes. I'm gonna break my holes into sevens. Okay. So this is 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7, 6, 7, 7 sevenths. So 7 pieces of sevens, that gives us a whole. Okay. 7 pieces of sevens, that makes us a whole. 7 pieces of sevens, that gives us a whole. Okay. Now 1 plus 1 plus 1, that gives us our 3. Okay, so we made our 3. Now let's label our 1/7. So here's my 1/7. And if I want to add one more 7, that's going to be here. So what is my answer? Well, I have 3 holes, so that stays the same. Okay, 3 holes stays the same. But I have now 2 pieces of 7, so that's going to be 3 whole and 2 sevenths. So this is a mixed number, okay? Because it's made of a whole number and a fraction. I can also I can change my answer into fraction only. Remember how I said that each whole is broken into 7 pieces of 7 because a whole mean it has all the pieces, it's not missing anything. So I have here 7 pieces of 7 plus 7 pieces more. That's going to give me 14. 14 plus 7 is going to give me 21 pieces of 7. So I changed my whole number into 21 pieces of 7 plus the 2 7 that are my fraction. That's going to give me 23 pieces of 7. So when you're adding fractions and mixed numbers, you can change your whole numbers into fractions because a whole number means it has all the pieces and you just match the denominator and the numerator. Okay, so you just match the numerator to the denominator. So 7/7, that's a whole number, and the answer can be written fractions only or with a mixed number. Okay, so one last question. Let's say we have 1 and 2/6. I'm gonna do this with the concept that I just explained to you. I know I'm looking at 1 and 2/6. That is a mixed number because it's made of 1 and the fraction 2/6. So if we take the 1 and break it to make it just an addition, 1 plus 2/6, the 1 is a whole number. What do I want to match it to? I want it to match it to the 6th. So I'm going to take that 1 and break it into 6th. How many pieces of 6th are in a whole number? There are 6 pieces of 6th in a whole number. Then I can add the 2/6 to it. that will give me 8 pieces of sixth. So this 1 whole and 2 sixths is going to be 8 pieces of sixth plus the 2 sixths that I have, and that will give me 10 pieces of sixth. So this is a fraction only answer. I can change this back into mixed number if I simply kept the 1 and added the 2 6 plus the 2 6. So that would be 1 and 4 6. Okay, so this is in mixed number. And just remember that fractions are whole numbers that are broken into pieces. Sometimes those whole numbers have all the pieces and they stay a whole number, but when they start missing one or more, then they become fractions. Okay? So I hope this video is helpful, and if you have questions, please let me know in Google Classroom or on Clever. Thank you, fourth graders.